Zimbabwe's first dollar billionaire, Strive Masiyiwa, is now tied to plans for 5 AI hubs across
Africa has been told for generations that it could only consume what others created, that innovation, data, and intelligence belong to someone else. But that narrative is collapsing fast. Because today, the same voices that once mocked the idea of African technology now have to face a shocking reality. The continent they underestimated has just declared digital independence. Strive Masiyiwa, the billionaire entrepreneur from Zimbabwe, isn't asking Silicon Valley for permission. He's building Africa's own artificial intelligence factories, 5 of them, across South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt, and Morocco. A $720 million investment through his company, Cassava Technologies, that aims to reshape Africa's place in the global tech economy. For decades, the world's digital powerhouses were concentrated in the West and parts of Asia. Africa, meanwhile, was locked out, forced to rent cloud space, export its data, and buy back intelligence that was trained on that same data. It was a silent form of digital dependence that kept the continent on the sidelines. But with Masiyiwa's vision, Africa is finally changing that equation. The first of these AI factories, already under construction in Johannesburg, will be powered by over 3,000 NVIDIA GPUs, the same advanced processors that drive the world's biggest AI models. For African researchers, this is revolutionary. For the first time, they'll be able to train and deploy their own large-scale models without sending data abroad. But this isn't about catching up. It's about taking the lead. Each of these AI factories is designed to act as a digital foundry, transforming raw African data into refined intelligence. They will be linked to Cassava's vast technological backbone, Africa data centers, Liquid Intelligent Technologies, and Liquid C2 networks that already stretch across dozens of nations. Together, they form a powerful ecosystem capable of supporting Africa's next digital chapter in healthcare, education, agriculture, fintech, and logistics. Masiyiwa's strategy is bold but deeply logical. Africa cannot remain dependent on renting computing power from Amazon, Microsoft, or Google, a system that drains billions in foreign currency every year. With the global AI industry expected to surpass $1.3 trillion by 2030, Africa needs to control its own infrastructure or risk being locked out once again. This is about sovereignty, digital sovereignty. When data leaves Africa, it stops being African. Masiyiwa wants to change that by creating a network where African data is processed, stored, and monetized within African borders. It's a declaration of independence in the digital age, a statement that the era of dependency is over, and the age of power has begun. The announcement also comes at a pivotal moment. Across the continent, leaders are calling for reforms in global institutions like the IMF and UN, demanding more autonomy and respect for African innovation. Masiyiwa's AI factories give substance to those calls, proof that Africa isn't waiting for permission to innovate. It's already doing it. To understand why this is so transformative, we need to look back. For years, Africa's relationship with technology has been one of imbalance. The continent provided the users, not the creators. Every app downloaded, every transaction processed, and every byte of data stored often ran on foreign servers, under foreign laws for foreign profit. It was a system built to keep Africa dependent. Even when African researchers developed cutting-edge projects, their work relied on servers in Europe or the United States. Governments stored citizen data abroad, and startups paid massive fees to foreign tech giants. It was digital colonialism, an invisible tax that robbed the continent of control over its most valuable asset, information. Masiyiwa saw the danger early. His AI factories are more than data centers. They're resistance against this colonial legacy. They ensure that Africa processes its own data, trains its own models, and builds its own algorithms. For the first time, Africa will not just participate in the global AI economy, it will help define it. The strategic design of the project reveals Masiyiwa's long-term vision. Each of the 5 factories plays a distinct role. South Africa will act as the industrial anchor with its strong infrastructure and manufacturing capacity. Nigeria will drive fintech and logistics integration. Kenya will focus on innovation and research through its vibrant startup ecosystem. Egypt will connect Africa with the Middle East and Asia, while Morocco will serve as the bridge to Europe. This isn't 5 random projects, it's one interconnected digital nervous system. Data will circulate within Africa, innovation will stay within Africa, and profits will benefit Africa. Cassava's existing network of over 110,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables ensures that this system can function as one seamless ecosystem. And yet, Masiyiwa knows that this kind of revolution doesn't come easy. Building AI factories is only the beginning. To keep them alive, Africa needs energy, skilled people, and strong policy coordination. Energy is the first challenge. Artificial intelligence runs on power, massive, uninterrupted power. Each AI server consumes enormous amounts of electricity, and many African countries still struggle with blackouts and unstable grids. From South Africa's load shedding to Nigeria's generator dependency, reliable energy remains a challenge. To address this, Cassava Technologies is investing in renewable microgrids and clean power systems. In South Africa, solar-driven backups are being developed. In Kenya and Nigeria, hybrid systems combining solar, wind, and gas are being tested to ensure 24/7 stability. For Masiyiwa, clean energy isn't just a sustainability goal. It's a strategic advantage. A continent that can produce its own green energy can also power its digital revolution. The second challenge is human capital. AI factories don't run on machines alone, they run on people. Africa needs engineers, coders, data scientists, and cybersecurity experts to maintain and grow this infrastructure. For too long, African talent has been exported abroad. Masiyiwa's project aims to reverse that trend by giving them a reason to come home. Cassava Technologies has already partnered with universities across Kenya, Nigeria, and Egypt to develop specialized AI curricula. The company is also funding scholarships and offering cloud credits to African startups, seeding a new generation of innovators who can use these AI factories as launchpads for world-class projects. The third challenge is policy. 5 countries, 5 different legal systems, and 5 sets of regulations make coordination complex. Without harmonized data laws, Africa's AI ecosystem could stumble over bureaucracy. This is where the African Union comes in. A unified digital sovereignty charter could standardize data protection, AI ethics, and cross-border infrastructure rules, ensuring seamless collaboration between African nations. The African Continental Free Trade Area has already laid the foundation for economic integration. Now the same logic must extend to digital integration. AI built in Nairobi should be able to work with systems in Lagos or Cairo without facing legal barriers. If successful, this project could redefine Africa's global image, not as a follower, but as a leader in shaping how humanity uses intelligence. For centuries, Africa's resources were extracted and shipped abroad: gold, oil, diamonds, and labor. But data is different. Cannot be physically stolen. It belongs to the people who generate it. With AI infrastructure finally being built on the continent, Africa has a chance to protect, refine, and monetize its own intelligence. The impact could be monumental. Imagine diagnostic AI trained on African genetic data, improving global healthcare. Imagine precision agriculture systems predicting rainfall in local dialects. Imagine educational AI tools teaching in Swahili, Yoruba, or Zulu. These aren't dreams, they're the logical outcome of African-owned infrastructure, as Masiyiwa once said. Whoever owns the servers owns the story. By 2026, when all 5 AI factories are operational, Africa will finally own part of its digital narrative. But with ownership comes responsibility. Africa cannot simply copy the West's mistakes, creating monopolies or biased algorithms that deepen inequality. Instead, it must lead with ethics, building AI systems that reflect human-centered intelligence. Already, African innovators are showing what that looks like. In Rwanda, AI is helping farmers optimize irrigation. In Senegal, AI is preserving local dialects. In Botswana, AI is tracking health data to prevent disease outbreaks. These are the building blocks of a uniquely African approach to technology, one that blends tradition with progress. And globally, the shift will be felt. The United States, Europe, and China, once the digital gatekeepers, will now have to negotiate with an Africa that owns its technology and its data. For the first time, Africa will have leverage in the digital economy. This is more than a business story. It's a civilizational turning point. The continent that was once mined for resources is now mining its own intelligence, and this time the gold stays home. The revolution Masiyiwa is building isn't fought with weapons or protests, it's fought with code, cables, and confidence. 5 AI factories are just the beginning. What they represent is far bigger. The birth of a self-sufficient, intelligent Africa, ready to define the next century on its own terms. Because the future, make no mistake, will have an African accent.